2 years ago, Arsenal was a team that people loved when the Champions League conversation started. Now they are one game away from touching the football immortality. But standing in front of them is not just another team, it's PSG, the defending champions, a club that already survived the pressure of the biggest night in football once before, and that is what makes this final terrifying. Because Arsenal is entering this match unbeaten in their whole Champions League campaign. They dominated the group stage, they control big moments, they won the Premier League. Everything about this season feels like destiny. But football has a cruel habit. The more you close to getting a history, the heavier your legs become. PSG know this feeling better than anyone. Because last season, they finally removed the cards that haunted the clubs for years. The pressure, the failures, the jokes, the collapse mentality. They kill all of it by winning the Champions League final against Inter Milan 5-0 last season. And now, they enter Budapest with something Arsenal still don't have, experiencing of survival the final itself. But this PSG side doesn't look like as untouchable as last year. In the early stage of UCL campaign, they look like unstable, they drop points, they lost matches nobody expected them to lose. PSG suffered 2 losses during the Champions League phases, one against Bayern Munich they lost 1-2 and one in the Sporting Club they lost 2-1. They also draw the game against Athletic Club, against Newcastle in the league phase, so their intensity disappeared in a moment, their balance looked broken. There were nights PSG looked like a team they are still searching for themselves, and yet somehow they survived the league phases, although they cannot finish the 8th position in the Champions League game, so they had to go through the knockout stages, and once the knockout stages started, their mentality changed completely. Suddenly the pressing game sharper, the transition became deadly again, the confidence returned, PSG stopped playing scared, and once that happened, they started destroying the team again on their road back to the final. And that's why this final feels psychologically fascinating, because tactically these teams are opposite in many ways. Arsenal want control, they want structure, they want to suffocate games slowly. Arteta's system is built around discipline, the midfield protects space beautifully, they are pressing traps opponents patiently, and once Arsenal scored first, they become emotionally exhausting to play against. The game suddenly feels slow, heavy and impossible to escape. PSG are different. PSG play like chaos, waiting to explode. One transition, one broken pass, one moment of space for Dembélé, Kvaratskhelia or Vitinha, and suddenly entire game changes. That's the biggest fear of Arsenal, because this might get the battle between the most defensive team in world football right now, between the most attacking team in football. So let's just compare head to head that how Arsenal and PSG in this season. As you can see, this blue graph is the actual graph of the PSG performance, that how they play in this season in the League 1. So in the defending side, they are still strong. They are a little bit lacking physicality, but pressing is on top in terms of goal, attacking and position on top. But counters, they are still lacking. But if you see the Arsenal in the Premier League, then you can see this red line is Arsenal showing, and in terms of defending and in terms of counter, Arsenal is really strong and stronger than PSG. And physicality is still beating a little bit, but in terms of pressing, goals, attacking and position, they are lacking. Yes, Arsenal is not a team that like to keep position. They are more control, they are more suffocating when opponent is attacking, so they are ready to sit back and absorb pressure. So let's just see the lineup of the both teams, that how they are going to line up in the final, so that we can get how they can play. So starting with Arsenal, and in the Arsenal starting with the goalkeeper position. In the goalkeeper position, for me, David Raya will be starting, but in the right back position, it is a little bit controversial that who gonna play in the right back, because both Timber and Ben White is injured, so it is a little bit controversial. But for me, Mosquera will be playing in the right back position. In the center back pair, Gabriel will be playing, and in the other center back pair, Saliba will be starting. In the left back, Calafiori will be starting. As a defensive midfielder, I think Declan Rice will be starting, because Declan Rice is the most great controller of of football. So for me, Rice will be starting as a defensive midfielder, and in the right side as center midfielder, I think Ødegaard will be starting because he is the team captain. So 100 he will be starting in the right center midfielder position, and in the left center midfielder position, Eze will be starting as he got a really nice shooting ability outside of the box. So for me, Eze will be starting as a left-sided center midfielder. In the center forward role, it is a little bit controversial who will be starting in the center forward role because Gyökeres can start, but I think Gyökeres was not looking that much effective. He was not looking that much threatening. So it's maybe that Havertz can start in this match, and for me Havertz will be really better suited. So I will be starting Havertz as a center forward. In the center forward role, it is a little bit controversial that who gonna be starting, but I think that Gyökeres is not that looking really good in the last couple of matches, and he didn't create that many attacking threat. So I think that Havertz can start. He is really threatening. He can really give our aerial threat. So for me, Havertz will be starting as a center forward role. In the left winger role, it is a little bit controversial that who gonna play. Martinelli really didn't create that much threatening. So I don't think he gonna be starting. For me, Trossard will be playing as a left winger. And in the right winger, it is not any doubt that Bukayo Saka will be starting as a right winger because he is that top class player, and if Bukayo Saka don't give that much threat in the game, then Madueke can come. Let's see what gonna happen in the match. But this team, it's more like Rice in the defensive midfielder and Ødegaard and Eze in the more attacking role, as an attacking midfielder, and Bukayo Saka and Trossard will be the creative playmaker. So Arsenal can make the lineup as I predicted. So this is my final lineup for Arsenal, and let's just see how PSG can line up against Arsenal. And starting with the goalkeeper, in the goalkeeper definitely Sofona will be starting because PSG main goalkeeper is injured, so he will be starting in this match. And in the right back position, it is a little bit controversial who gonna play in the right back, that Hakimi is injured in this match, and who can play in the right back position except Hakimi is Zaire Emery and Mayulu. But I think Zaire Emery will be starting as a right back because he played really well in the couple of matches. So for me, Zaire Emery will be starting as a right back. In the center back, Marquinhos will be starting, and in the other center back pair, William Pacho will be starting, and in the left back, it is no doubt that Nuno Mendes will be starting. In the defensive midfield 100 on 100 day, Vitinha will be starting. In the right side center midfielder role, for me, João Neves will be starting, and in the left side center midfielder role, Fabian Ruiz will be starting as a center forward, and Bukayo Saka and Trossard will be the creative playmaker. Dembélé, the Ballon d'Or winner of last season, and he is really in the great form after injury. So for me, Dembélé will be starting as a center forward. In the left winger, it is no doubt that Kvaratskhelia will be starting as a left winger, because he is really on top in this match and no other player will be starting as a left winger. And in the right winger position, it is no doubt that who will be starting. It will be the Desire Doué because he is really that key player, the under 18 best player awarded in the last season. So for me, this will be the lineup of PSG. So they can play against Arsenal next game. So if I talk about their lineup is mostly like Vitinha is dropping deep, João Neves and Fabian Ruiz is more of the upfront role. Dembélé is someone who drops deep, and Desire Doué and Kvaratskhelia who makes the run from the wide areas. So that is the way how PSG play. So that's gonna be a really key thing to watch, that their attacking pattern is a little bit more of a same. So that was my final lineup for PSG side. But one thing to talk about, that both teams know which team are more vulnerable in the which side. PSG know Arsenal fullback can be isolated in transition because Arsenal fullback don't have that much recovery pace. So in the transition, Arsenal can hard with Desire Doué, with Kvaratskhelia, and Arsenal know PSG sometimes lose emotional control when they cannot dominate position. If Arsenal can frustrate them early, then doubt could slowly enter inside the PSG mind. But if PSG scored first, then the Arsenal have to face something that they didn't face in the whole Champions League campaign, because in the Champions League campaign they are mostly scored first and they didn't concede first, and they were unbeaten in the whole Champions League campaign. And if Arsenal concede first, then there will be the pressure of the final, because pressure changes football. Simple passes become difficult, leg becomes heavier, and suddenly fears enters the match. So that is why this final feels bigger than tactics, bigger than any prediction. So now it's the time that I want to talk about the prediction of what can be the scoreline in this match. In this type of game, in this type of matches, like when both two identities are colliding, predicting anything can be really difficult, because it can be 1-1, it can be 2-2, it can be 2-4, it can be 3-1, anything can happen. It can either finish in the 90 minutes, it can finish in the 120 minutes, anything can happen. But for me, even though Arsenal won the Premier League this season, but still PSG are more favorite in the final, because they are really that much threatening, that much attacking side, that every team in Europe fears PSG to face. Even if you see Arsenal is also vulnerable. They lost against Manchester City in the EFL Cup final. They lost against Southampton in the FA Cup. They lost against Bournemouth in the Premier League. They lost against Manchester City again in the Premier League. So Arsenal is not that strong in terms of defending against a big team. So even though I am Arsenal fan in this match, but for me my gut feeling is saying that PSG can win this match. So my final prediction will be for this match is 3-1 PSG side, and the game will be finished in 90 minutes. One thing to keep in mind, that it will be one leg tire match, it not will be a two leg tire match. So it will be finished in the final in the 120 minutes. If not, it's finished in 90 minutes. So that thing to remember. I will be really shocked if I saw it go in the 120 minutes. So it feels like a psychological war between two teams that define their identity forever. For Arsenal, this is about completing the perfect season and finally proving they belong among Europe's top immortal club. And for PSG, this is about proving last year was not luck, not a season miracle, but a beginning of a new era. And honestly, this is what makes the final terrifyingly beautiful. Because in the Budapest, one club will complete their story, and for other, they have to leave the stadium with incomplete story. And the history will be retold only for the winner. So let me know in the comment who will be winning in the Champions League final. Is it Arsenal? Is it PSG? And drop your prediction. I will really love to know your thoughts on the comment. So I will see you in the next video, and up until peace.